Hello students, welcome to today's lectures on AGM 311, Introduction to Farm Mechanization, Study Section 1. The title of today's topic is Farm Mechanization. Introduction. Machines are generally used to do work. Various work exists on the farm, such as land clearing, land preparation for planting, and crop harvesting, and so on. Machines are now used to carry out this work on the farm. The use of machines makes such work less tasking, and farmers then find work interesting and pleasant to do. Agricultural mechanization is a special field of agricultural engineering. It is a way of improving farming operations through the use of machines, equipment, and structures to enhance productivity and to reduce drudgery. This study section brings into focus the usefulness of agricultural mechanization. On completion of this study section, you should be able to 1. Define the concept of farm mechanization, enumerate the objectives of farm mechanization, state the principles and uses of simple machines and workshop tools. Farm mechanization. Farm mechanization is the use of machines for various farm operations to encourage efficiency, guarantee increased productivity, and reduce drudgery. According to Food and Agriculture Organization, they define mechanization as the application of tools, implements, and machinery in order to achieve agricultural productions. It is also the application of engineering principles for operating farm machines with a view to increasing farm operations and output. Mechanizations of power-intensive agricultural operations such as land preparation, threshing, grinding, and milling is characterized by non-human sources of energy input to replace human and animal ones required in the operations. On the other hand, mechanized control-intensive operations such as planting, weeding, winnowing, fruit harvesting requires greater human judgment and mental input in addition to energy. Grain harvesting can be thought of as both a power and control-intensive operations. Aims and objectives of agricultural mechanization. As indicated in the definition, agricultural mechanization is aimed at achieving the following objectives, which are to increase efficiency of production, to reduce farm drudgery, to encourage farmers to practice large-scale farming, to increase yield of farm produce, to reduce farm hazard. Other objectives of agricultural mechanization are to enhance the quality of farm produce, to ensure that farm work is carried out very fast, to save labor through human labor replacement with machines. In doing this, labor is released to other services and industries. Basic machine. The machine is an appliance or piece of equipment that uses power to do a particular job. For example, the raising upward of a heavy load with a relatively small force. Examples of power to do work are mechanical and electrical power. Machines are used in the production and processing of crops. For instance, mowing machines and threshing machines. A mowing or threshing machine or other type of machines, they are made up of many simple machines. These simple machines are sometimes called basic machines. Examples of basic machines are we have the lever, the pulley system, the wheel and axis, the inclined plane, the screw and gears, and also we have the wedge. Properties of basic machine. Some properties common with basic machines are mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage of a machine is the ratio of the force delivered by the machine to the force applied. The force delivered by the machine is the load, while the force which operates the machine is called the applied force. We also have the velocity ratio of a machine, which is the ratio of distance moved by the effort to the distance moved by the load. And lastly, we have efficiency of the machine, which is the ratio of the work done by the machine to the work done on it. Thus, efficiency is always expressed in percentage. It is particularly necessary to note that efficiency of a machine is always less than 100%. This is because in machines where there are shafts rotating in bearings, part of the power put into the machine is used to overcome the resistance of the bearing, called friction. If friction is neglected, the work done by the machine through the loads must be equal to the work done on it through the effort. because there is a loss due to friction, the efficiency of the machine is always less than 100%. Now talking about the basic machines, we are starting with the lever. According to the diagram shown on the slide, a lever is the simplest form of machine. For example, a long pole or a ridge bar that is pivoted on a fulcrum to raise heavy objects is an example of a lever. The fixed point at which the straight long pole or rigid bar rotates is the fulcrum. Then another example of basic machine is the pulley system as shown on the slide. Let us consider a single fixed pulley as shown on the slide. A rope over the pulley is used to lift the load at the other end by pulling the rope at one end. The pulley is made up of grooved wheel which can turn easily and freely in a frame referred to as block. The distance moved by the effort downward is equal to the distance moved upward by the load. Then also we have wheel and axis as an example of basic machines. The wheel and axis are commonly found in vehicle wheels or bicycle wheels as well as pulleys. The wheels and axis are made of a wheel of big radius R placed or mounted on an axle with radius small r. The radius of the wheel is bigger than the radius of the axle. The load to carry is borne by the axle while the effort is applied on the wheel. Also, we have inclined plane. Let us assume that the process of palm oil by farmers was put in a big drum. If the drum of oil is made, now let's consider inclined plane as another example of basic machine. Let us assume that processed palm oil by a farmer was put in a big drum. If the drum of palm oil is to be loaded into a floor of a trailer coupled to a tractor, then the heavy drum of palm oil can be lifted into the trailer with the use of plank placed in an inclined plane at an angle of theta to the horizontal as shown on the slide. The inclined plane is therefore serving as a machine to accomplish the rolling of the drum of palm oil into the trailer. So looking at the slide, we have theta to be the angle of inclination of the plane to the horizontal, while we have the h, which is the height through which the heavy drum of palm oil was lifted. We also have w, which represents the load or drum of palm oil in question, and last we have the e, which is the efforts applied to roll the drum of palm oil on the inclined plane. Moving on to another example of basic machine, we have the screw. The screw, which is also called the nut and bolt, is a simple machine. It has screw thread. The distance between successive thread is referred to as pitch. A typical screw is shown on the slide. The screw jack is a good example of this system and is normally used in lifting cars or tractors during usage, as the screw head is made to turn one complete revolution. The screw, which is the load, traveled forward and cover a distance equal to the pitch. Lastly, we have gear. Gear are meant to increase or decrease speeds. Gear are used in cars, tractors, bicycles, and cranes. For example, in a tractor, gears may be made to change the speed of the rear wheel in spite of the fact that the engine speed remains constant. The driving gear is called the driver, while the gear being driven is called the driven. A typical in-mesh gear system is shown on the slide. Thank you for listening. We've come to the end of today's class. Hope to see you again in the next class. Have a good day.